Greetings. My name is James-Denton Wyllie, and I am the Director for CDER's Office of Communications, also known as OCOMM. Thank you for attending my virtual session today on communications in a global pandemic. The learning objectives for today's presentation are to describe OCOMM's commitment to transparency, outlining our roles and responsibilities, and highlighting some of our contributions to public health. This presentation will give an overview of OCOMM's structure and our work supporting the Center's communications efforts. I will describe and provide examples of our strategic communication goals to highlight actions we took during the global pandemic to reach multiple stakeholders using a variety of platforms and communication vehicles. I will also explain how we intend to apply the lessons learned from the pandemic in the post-pandemic period and beyond. CDER's OCOMM offers a variety of internal and external communication services to CDER offices to assist with communication efforts. As you can see on this organizational chart, OCOMM has a number of groups that support a continuum of communications and information operations. I'll start with our immediate office, or IO, where we have a risk and research communications team, a strategic initiatives team, and an administrative team. Our risk and research team members develop and coordinate OCOMM's drug safety communications, which serve as the Center's primary tool to communicate post-market drug safety information to the public. The team also conducts social and behavioral science and risk communication research, unearthing evidence that informs deeper understanding of various audiences and provides other CDER offices with critical social science data. As its name suggests, our strategic initiative team develops communication plans to support the Center's overall operational goals. It also assists with the coordination of multi-center and agency-level communication rollouts for CDER on high-profile issues. And last, but certainly not least within IO, the administrative team serves as OCOMM's logistical and operational backbone, ensuring that we are well-trained and resourced to complete our various tasks. Moving on to our operating divisions, I'd like to start with our Division of Digital and Online Communications, or DDOC. DDOC manages production for CDER web pages, including lifecycle management of sites. They also ensure 508 compliance for publicly available content and establish analytic reporting structures to help improve site performance. DDOC also develops, maintains, and updates databases to advance stakeholder access to CDER information, including 19 of the 21 CDER databases, such as Drugs at FDA, the Orange Book, and the National Drug Code Directory. Additionally, DDOC team members include a number of talented artists who design and produce print, digital, and audiovisual content for a variety of center offices. Next, I'd like to discuss our Division of Health Communications, which some of you may know by its previous name as the Division of Public Education and Outreach. DHC facilitates information exchange among CDER's internal and external customers and manages external communications development, CDER trade press requests, speaking engagement requests, and public health campaigns. Collectively, the work DHC team members complete across these areas help proactively inform the various segments of the public on Center policies, programs, and achievements via their preferred communication channels, and provides our internal workforce with communication from and to Center and agency leadership. Rounding out OCOMM is the Division of Drug Information, or DDI. DDI is staffed with a team of pharmacists that respond to drug-related inquiries from the public. This can include phone, emails, letters, or even social media. Last year alone, the team responded to approximately 60,000 inquiries. DDI team members also coordinate and lead agency responses to write-in campaigns, serve as CDER's point of contact for non-oncology expanded access requests, authorize emergency investigational new drug applications for COVID-19 to support CDER's Office of New Drugs, and promote CDER programs and initiatives during individual stakeholder interactions. Critically, DDI also manages CDER's Small Business and Industry Assistance Program, providing global outreach, education, and engagement for regulated industry through webinars, conferences like this one, social media, and listserv messaging. So now that I've covered how we're constructed, let's talk about what we do at OCOMM. Simply put, we help tell CDER's story, and we do so by working across the center with each program office to strategically communicate about initiatives and activities that impact numerous stakeholders. We provide strategic direction and content coordination at the executive level, and with all components within CDER and the agency as it relates to editorial support for the center director. We also coordinate and centralize multi-center and agency-level rollouts for CDER on high-profile issues and plan, implement, and coordinate the strategic communication goals and objectives of the center. Our strategic communication goals are straightforward. First and foremost, we want to ensure that we are contributing to the public good and health through the delivery of timely and accurate information that reaches audiences where they are. Secondly, we want to build a cohesive communication strategy that maintains a comprehensive view of activities across the government related to COVID-19 and other priority issues. Third, we want to demystify science and processes in a way that people understand. This includes translating our content into other languages and emphasizing plain language. And fourth, we want to ensure that we are maintaining transparency and building trust among the people that we are trying to help. OCOMM strives to meet all of these goals in a useful, timely, and relevant manner. We will discuss examples of how we have executed each of these goals in the upcoming slides. The next few slides offer examples of our efforts to reach a variety of stakeholders. We utilize our various social media platforms to engage with and update our industry colleagues in order to contribute to public health. On the left of this slide is an example of a tweet bringing attention to a guidance document concerning manufacturing, supply chain, and drug and biological product inspections during COVID-19. If you click on the tweet graphic, you will be directed to the full guidance document. On the right-hand side is a snapshot from one of our SBIA webinars that provided additional information and clarification for a guidance document titled Conducting Clinical Trials During the COVID-19 Pandemic. If you click on the webinar image, you will be directed to the full recording. This information was also shared on our main LinkedIn page as well as our SBIA specific LinkedIn page. Expanding upon the topic of discussion during the plenary, here are two examples of our communications to healthcare professionals, industry colleagues, as well as consumers surrounding EUAs. In order to reach all of our target audiences in a timely manner, multiple communication channels were utilized. In addition to LinkedIn and Twitter, we also communicated with the public through Facebook. Since January 2020 through March 2021, OCOMM has responded to 20,961 inquiries related to COVID-19. During this time, we've seen inquiries continue to focus on topics such as hand sanitizers, EUAs, potential drug therapies for COVID-19, drug-vaccine interaction, and expanded access and emergency IND requests. I'd like to take a moment to talk about the JIC, or the Joint Information Center, which is an arm of the FDA's Incident Management Group and is activated in emergencies to support cross-programmatic external communication. A COVID-19 JIC was established in January 2020 to monitor and assess the need for and effectiveness of public messaging regarding the pandemic and FDA's response. The JIC was also established to increase information exchange and coordinate cross-cutting external communication related to the pandemic and to amplify messages to stakeholders throughout all communication channels. Staff from OCOMM's DHC and DDI divisions represent CDER on the JIC, listening to the needs of all target audiences on salient issues such as drug development and shortages, and escalating issues such as health fraud and concern about monoclonal antibody restrictions, that require attention. We continue to refine our strategic communication efforts by identifying future communication opportunities and challenges, ensuring alignment with HHS and FDA messaging, collecting stakeholder feedback to inform decision-making, and tactical, thoughtful engagement with external stakeholders in critical issues. Let's talk about a specific example when it comes to communication strategy. So in response to the demand for alcohol-based sanitizers, FDA provided guidance on the preparation and distribution of hand sanitizer products for the public's use. As an example of tactics derived from our communication strategy, OCOMM created numerous messages to provide clarity and context on the topic, and in fact, one of our top performing posts in 2020 on Facebook was this one regarding hand sanitizer safety. Additionally, in April of 2020 alone, OCOMM responded to more than 1,800 inquiries from the public following the guidance's release, and OCOMM staff continues to escalate reports of hand sanitizer product quality issues or possible adverse reactions, many of which are currently on the list of hand sanitizers consumers should not use. Plain language is key to successful communications about FDA's and CDER's work. In order to communicate appropriately with all our audiences, OCOMM strives to incorporate plain language into the information we share. While both of these Twitter posts are industry-focused in content, they have been translated into plain language so that the general public can stay up to date with the announcements. Through posts like these, we are able to reach the public and industry personnel where they are comfortable receiving information. Plain language content also contributes to our goal of transparency by providing audiences with more digestible and contextualized information. This infographic summarizes CDER's COVID-19 response and the complexity of issues we addressed for multiple stakeholder audiences. During COVID, we devoted a lot of resources to creating web pages designed to keep industry informed on our progress with regard to inspections, meeting user fee goals, and offering guidance documents to support insight into our current thinking during pandemic operations, with considerations given to practical constraints such as travel limitations, quarantine, and social distancing requirements or lockdowns. Maintaining transparency was reflective of continuous postings with respect to EUAs and posting of CDER review documents. This was extremely helpful for answering media inquiries and to promote public confidence in FDA's scientific review process and in ultimately appropriately using products authorized for emergency use. Another example of our commitment to transparency is illustrated here by a message that was sent out via the Small Business Listserv informing our industry audience of a new master protocol guidance. And it's important to note that although COVID-19 was a large part of our operations for 2020, OCOMM's non-COVID work remained. And the commitment that we have made to our COVID work is the commitment that we have made to our non-pandemic work as well. So where do we go from here? Because of our goals of commitment to transparency, effectiveness in communicating, and being responsible and contributing to the public good and public health, we have been successful. We have made adjustments to our approach to social media and considered more creative ways to use the platform for more public messaging, like quizzes, for example. That's a hint coming up. We continue to promote FDA as a one-stop shop for COVID information. Whether it is a fact sheet or a web page, there is a space where all relevant information about a topic is placed in a simple and engaging way. We are making more efforts to meet with stakeholders when planning communications to ensure alignment, and we work to diagnose operational successes and failures that ultimately serve to improve our efforts and outcome. When we reflect on areas for improvement and challenges that lie ahead, a big one will be that plain language communications will continue to be a challenge for us due to the nature of the work that we do at CDER. And so it will be up to us to continue to emphasize plain language wherever we can. For example, make sure that we're always explaining the difference between an emergency use authorization and a full FDA approval. Additionally, conquering misinformation is going to be an ongoing challenge. In times of pandemics and crises, people are starved and are consuming information at a rapid rate. And it will be our challenge to make sure that they are not being overwhelmed with falsehoods and misconceptions. And so we will continue to strive to overwhelm the lies with the truth. And third, using multiple communication challenges to reach multiple niche audiences. Yes, I know I talked about this as a success, but it's also an area of improvement. While we've made great strides, we don't intend to rest on our laurels, and we will continue to see how we can improve. Ultimately, the vision that OCOMM is trying to achieve is to help advance scientific knowledge and understanding. We truly believe that if we are able to do this, then we will be supporting FDA's mission of serving the public health in an incredibly effective way. So I hinted a while back that a quiz might be on its way, and here it is. So let's see who was paying attention. And let's start with question 1. OCOMM's roles and responsibilities include all except which of the following? A. Escalation of issues via real-time feedback. B. Coordinate and centralize multi-center and agency-level rollouts. C. IND application review. Or D. Web communication. If you answered C, IND application review, then congratulations, you are correct. Let's move on to the next question. JIC is an acronym for which of the following? A. Joint Information Center. B. Joint Intelligence Committee. C. Joint Industry Council. Or D. Joint Implementation Commission. If you chose A, Joint Information Center, then again, congratulations. You are correct. I'd like to close by sharing just a closing thought, and that is in the Office of Communications, OCOMM, our top priority is ensuring that our communications play the role that they are supposed to in supporting the larger mission of the FDA, to create trust and maintain public awareness, to protect consumers and the public as a whole, to provide effective means of communication in a tone that all audiences can understand and respond, to reach as many people as possible, to combat misinformation, and ultimately to promote and protect public health. The coronavirus pandemic has been an unprecedented event in modern history, which has required an extraordinary response around the world. Quickly after the emergence of this virus, the FDA began working directly with federal health partners, academia, and industry to advance medical countermeasures against COVID-19. Without the pharmaceutical industry, the progress thus far would not be possible, as you all have submitted many innovative and well-designed studies for prevention and treatment of COVID-19. The agency has provided several guidances fostering drug development during the pandemic for industry. And because of our commitment to transparency and OCOMM's diverse roles and responsibilities, we have been able to communicate both effectively and successfully throughout the pandemic. Thank you for your time today. I hope this presentation was informative, and I look forward to communicating with you all in the future.